Buenas, buenas enough today, and welcome to the People's House, the Guam Congress Hall, where we are all the way live for this very special legislative certificate presentation. I want to recognize my colleague, Senator Shelley Calvo. Thank you so much, Senator, for being here to support. And these legislative certificates are coming from every single senator in the 37th Guam legislature, which I think is very key because Republican, Democrat, no matter the party, we all agree that we have some very special individuals here who are worthy of this legislative certificate of recognition. And today, we're presenting these certificates to Mr. and Mrs. John and Debbie Wise, who are here to my left in the matching outfits. Now, they are a husband and wife team that I like to call them recovery heroes. You know, we just cut the ribbon over at the Guam for the Salvation Army's Recovery Center. And Mr. John and Debbie Wise have done some great work in recovery and preaching at the Department of Corrections for over 3 decades. And so as their journey with DOC comes to kind of a close, I don't want to say it's not closing because they're still continuing to do the work. In fact, they're doing it up to this day. But we definitely wanted to recognize them as a body, as a legislature, for their tremendous contribution to the island of Guam and her people. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to present this to you, Mr. John. And thank you so much for your 30 years of service to our people and the very good work that you do. And also to you, Miss Debbie Wise. And, you know, you guys have such a great story that was shared with me by some very good friends of yours. So I want to share a little bit more information about Mr. and Mrs. John and Debbie Wise. Now, they came to the island of Guam in 1992. And it's very interesting because they actually came here on a trimaran sailboat way back in the day. And in 1995, they both began preaching and teaching in services through Prison Fellowship Guam for the men and women at the Department of Corrections. The Wises have assisted with art classes, choir, and even the praise team at DOC. They've brought Christmas cheer to patients at St. Dominic's and provided praise music for Seventh-day Adventist conventions in the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse. John and Debbie became members of the Prison Fellowship Guam Board of Directors in the early 2000s, and today, John and Debbie still facilitate the praise teams and services for men and occasionally services for the women as well. They have become co-executive directors on the board and continue to facilitate services for the men and are teaching the prisoner's journey and the music to the men in the RSAT program. Now, this is the Recovery Substance Abuse Treatment Program out of DOC. And together they counsel and support men and women in aftercare programs, especially those dealing with drug and addiction. Of course, I want to recognize the Director of Department of Corrections, Director Fred Bradalio. Thank you for being here to support. And we also have some friends of the Wises, and then we also have some of the staff from the RSAT program out at DOC. And just a little bit more about the RSAT program. So when prisoners are readying for release and they're struggling with addiction or as a drug charge, they can enter into this RSAT program, and it helps them overcome the struggles of addiction and prepare them for release from prison. And I know that, sometimes it's not successful, but when it is, let me tell you, what an impact and what a difference, right, that you guys make in these prisoners' lives. And so, before we did the presentation, I asked who was going to talk, and John very rightfully deferred to his wife to do the talking here today. So, I mean, to put 30 years of service to, especially people who are oftentimes forgotten by society, people who are locked up, people who, may never get another chance, people who are written off or given up on many times by their families and even their friends, to offer that shot at redemption. It's got to be, you talk about doing the Lord's work, and you guys have done it for over 30 years. So I just want to give you the opportunity to just speak on that service and its rewards and challenges.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first we, of course, give glory to God for opening the doors to do what we do, to spread the word to people you never expect to give you anything back, simply to spread the word and let God's love do the work in their hearts. And when we talk about programs like the RSAT program and so forth, there has to be a change of mind, but there has to be a change of heart. So we're into changing their hearts and working on their minds, educating them, encouraging them, trying to find opportunities for them. And so, like, what started for us, and I encourage everyone, if the Lord calls on you, just say yes. Don't turn your back. Don't say not now. We started I started when the chaplain, David Allen, way back said, could we have some volunteers to help watch the kids while there's adult visitation? So each week, different groups would come in, and our ladies group said, oh, sure. And we taught some of the kids how to read, and we taught some of the kids how to play nicely, and we just listened. It was great. And then the director said, okay, for a few of the men to come in and learn how to play with their children. It's wonderful. So when things are beautiful, I cry, sorry. But anyway, so that's where it started for me, and then I said, hey, let's go. There was a place for us in our Post 9, and so on. So it just grew, and God just kept opening doors. We didn't say, hey, I've got an idea. It was always God first. And so we continue. And quite often, people who work in ministry don't get to see the fruits of their labor. But we've been able to do that, maybe because we've been there so long, but we're lifers. We've been there longer than most of the guys and gals there. So when they do go through the RSAT program, and they do have that change of heart and mind, and go on to get a full-time job, learn a trade, learn a skill, learn the responsible behavior for families, that's rewarding. That's a really wonderful thing. So, and I just had a wonderful experience with she wasn't in RSAT, but she's hopefully going to have her ankle monitor removed soon. And she has been fully employed since September, full-time, plus her side hustle, worked on a budget. She's working on paying off her debts, and she earned a car, which makes her so much more independent, and she gives glory to God for everything in her life. It's wonderful when we can see that kind of accomplishment. So we keep working. It's not just one, and there's many out there that we don't know of, but anyone who's interested in being part of the Prison Fellowship group, come, serve. You will be blessed more than you know.
Wow, thank you. Here, that's for you. I got the fugo, the goosebumps all over from that. And you know, when you talk about these success stories, and I've run into people who have completed the RSAT successfully who spoke very highly of you. But when you see these success stories out there, I know it's a reward, God's reward to you for doing the good work that you do. But these success stories are also a beacon to everybody else who's struggling with addiction, who's struggling to overcome a lot of challenges that are in front of our people because of the drug epidemic that's out there. So, very humbled and so grateful for your service to our island and her people. And I just want to offer Director Berdallo this opportunity to say just a few words, Chief.
Thank you, Senator Barnett, and thank you to Mr. and Ms. Wise for your hard work and your dedication helping out the population of inmates over at Department of Corrections. They certainly always appreciate, the help and the assistance they need. Drug addiction is a very serious problem that they have and a big challenge, and it's affected not only them, but it also goes to each and every one of their families too that are hoping for their success, and the heroes like yourselves, right, and our case service work also that are here, also our social workers, and also the support we have from Guam Memorial Hospital and Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness. The RSET program is very effective, and as you're being recognized here, I like to just also send my appreciations to you and thank you for the work that you do over at Department of Corrections, because it does count, and we may not sometimes see it publicly in terms of individuals coming forth to say that what they experience through the program, but it's talked about in the community, and we hope not only does it happen at Department of Corrections, it happens at Department of Youth Affairs for our youth, and also for our community with the Guam Salvation Army in terms of the Lighthouse Recovery. Hope there are more rehabilitation centers that the islands can provide, and that's where lawmakers can work with the administration, because we definitely need that kind of accessibility for people who need to defeat the challenge of their drug addiction. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Berdallo. And of course, with the cooperation of Senator Calvo and the 38th Guam Legislature, I know just from attending the ribbon cutting at Guma Famalawan that this is a body that's definitely dedicated to bringing more accessibility and just more services. Because as you guys know, there's a wait list for RSAT, there's a wait list almost for Guma Famalawan, there's a wait list for a lot of the treatment and recovery programs. So the need is definitely there. We just need to increase the capacity. And I just also want to thank you on a personal level for really demonstrating how significant and important having faith in God is when you're facing these challenges of addiction, and how key that is in overcoming these challenges. Never forget. And we're going to be joining in praying for everybody at DOC and praying for the continued success of you and the work that you do. And so again, thank you, Director Berdallo. Thank you, Senator Calvo, for your support here. And thank you to the DOC staff who also came out to support, and also some of the friends from the church who have, and these boys here, these little triplets right here, right on. Okay, the future is bright. Guahusi Senator Chris Malafunkshun Barnett, one more time, congratulations, and Undunkalu Nesiduos Masi to Mr. John and Debbie Wise for your service to our island and her people. Biba! And this has been a very special legislative certificate presentation. Guahusi Senator Chris Malafunkshun Barnett, Siduos Masi, está, adios.